everyone, it's Michelle and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. So I have another awesome book recommendation for you. Now it's from the same author, Frida McFadden, who wrote the Housemaid books that a lot of you have enjoyed. Now this one is called Never Lie. It's about a newlywed couple who are searching for the house of their dreams, and they go to visit a remote mansion that belonged to a famed psychiatrist who went missing 4 years earlier. Now, while they're out there, they have no phone service, and they realize they're now stuck because they're in the middle of a blizzard. So while they're there, the wife noses around the office of the missing psychiatrist and finds a hidden missing room that is lined with hundreds of cassette tapes of the patients that the doctor secretly recorded. Now, while she's listening to these cassette tapes, she starts to learn about the terrifying chain of events that lead up to Dr. Hell's mysterious disappearances. So this book, guys, had many twists and turns. I really thought I had solved the book. I was like, okay, I got it. But nope, there was like 2 different twists at the end of the book. So I highly recommend it. I listened to it in 1 day. That is how good the book was. So if you have any good book recommendations that are like mystery thrillers, ghost stories, that type of thing, leave it for me down below because I'm always looking for another book. But you guys, we have a lot of juicy royalty to get through today, so you know what to do. Sit back and relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get into the Royal Daily Tea. So Catherine, the Princess of Wales, braved very bad weather and made a surprise appearance at Wimbledon to watch British #1 player Katie Boulter. Catherine delighted royal fans as she arrived for the second day of London's famous tennis tournament. Now, Catherine is a royal fixture in the royal box each year, and she looked beautiful today wearing a white pleated skirt and a mint green blazer. I swear there isn't a color this woman cannot wear. So she headed over to court 18 to watch the British #1 player Katie Boulter take on Australia's Daria Saville. However, due to the heavy rain, the game was stopped with the first set at 5-6. Now, Kate was joined in the royal box by tennis legend and friend Roger Federer and his wife Mirka, as he received a special tribute on center court after retiring from the sport last year. As patron of the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, the princess is a regular fixture at Wimbledon, and this is unlikely to be her only trip to watch the tournament this year. So apparently a lot of tennis fans were extremely upset because the special tribute that was being done to Roger Federer was not televised on television. So many BBC viewers were left furious as the broadcasting giant opted to stick with coverage of Carlos Alcaraz rather than switching to Roger Federer's tribute on center court. The Swiss won 8 men's titles at Wimbledon, and his return to the All England club was hotly anticipated by those in attendance and watching from home. Federer's tribute, which included a short montage before he emerged onto center court to a huge standing ovation, coincided with the first round match between Jeremy Chardy and Alcaraz. Alcaraz came into this year's tournament at the top seed and world #1, but many viewers were left upset that BBC Two didn't ditch their coverage to cover the ceremony honoring Federer. A recording of the tribute was later shown on BBC Sports' Twitter account, although many people were aggravated that they could not watch it live on TV. Instead, it was only available online on BBC iPlayer before being shown on BBC Two over an hour later during a pause and play in the third set of Alcaraz's match. That's pretty messed up. He is a huge tennis star. Many people were there to see him, and BBC chose not to air his tribute. That was a pretty bad move, in my opinion. What do you guys think about BBC's decision not to air the tribute live on TV? So King Charles is in Scotland and he took part of the ancient ceremony of the keys, which is a very important ritual and the traditional opener to Holyrood Week for the royal family. Now, this is a very big week for King Charles as monarch. He is having his second coronation on Wednesday, July 5th. But this ceremony is something that is very important and steeped in tradition. Every time the monarch arrives in Scotland for the beginning of Royal Week, they are given a set of keys by the elected officials of the city, and Charles hands the keys back, pretty much telling people, I am the monarch, but I am entrusting the care of this city to you. Now, huge crowds of people came out to greet King Charles ahead of his coronation, where on Wednesday he will have a ceremony of thanksgiving at St. Giles Cathedral, where he will be presented the honors of Scotland, the nation's crown jewels. Now, while Charles was there, he also visited Connolly House of Bowness in Falkirk to meet representatives of charities, including his own, the Prince's Trust. The king also planted a tree to commemorate the centenary of the estate becoming a public park and met charity representatives and beneficiaries. Now, among those he greeted, he met Bowness Fair Queen Lexi Scotland, who was wearing her ceremonial robes and crown. How adorable. The pair shook hands as the king congratulated Lexi on her achievement. So Charles will be presented with the honors of Scotland, the country's crown jewels, during the service of Thanksgiving and dedication at St. Giles Cathedral on Wednesday. The service will feature centuries-old aspects of Scottish royal tradition, along with new additions such as pieces of music, which was written specifically for the occasion, a psalm sung in Gaelic, and the use of passages from the New Testament in Scots. The moderator of the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland, Reverend Sally Foster Fulton, will preach the sermon and then provide a blessing to close the service. Now, others involved will include violinist Nicola Benedetti, who will be among the musicians playing, and Olympic rower Dom Catherine Granger, who will carry the new Elizabeth sword, which is being used in place of the sword of state. The service will feature 5 new pieces of music commissioned to mark the occasion, including Balmoral Flourishes by composer Paul Mueller, which will be performed by the state trumpeters of the Household Cavalry. So during the ceremony, the scepter and the crown from the honors of Scotland will be presented to the king along with the brand new Elizabeth sword, which was named after the late Queen Elizabeth. Now, this new sword is specifically crafted to be used in place of the current sword of state, which was gifted to James IV by Pope Julius in 1507, which can no longer be used due to its fragile condition. So it's very exciting that there's a brand new tradition, there's a brand new sword, and this sword will now be carried on through Prince William and Prince George. So the coronation in Scotland for King Charles will also have a 3-day musical extravaganza concert, beating retreat a military musical spectacular, Orb and Scepter, will feature the massed bands of the Household Division, massed pipes and drums, alongside the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery to further celebrate King Charles's coronation. So this definitely seems like this is going to be a huge celebratory event. So King Charles and Queen Camilla have a jam-packed schedule this week in Scotland just ahead of their coronation on Wednesday. And they were in extremely good spirits. They always look like they have a good time together. They most recently celebrated the 75th anniversary of the Royal Infirmary of Edinburgh joining the NHS. Now, during the visit, Charles and Camilla spoke with staff who had lined the hallways to catch a glimpse of the royal couple. The royals also met with patients who benefit from the Elderly Meaningful Activity Center. The organization puts on afternoon tea events and parties for patients, as well as helping them to exercise. As part of their visit, Charles and Camilla cut into a commemorative cake to celebrate the milestone in the hospital's history. Again, they always look like they're having a good time. Now, King Charles and Queen Camilla braved the horrible weather in Edinburgh as they inspected the new Jubilee gates, which had been installed at the Palace of Holyroodhouse. Continuing the Holyrood Week celebrations, they unveiled a new gold plaque outside the Palace of Holyroodhouse, which is the King's official residence in Edinburgh. The new ornament gate features 6 emblems, including a thistle, which is the traditional emblem of Scotland. During the engagement, the King was given a leather-bound book detailing the history of Holyroodhouse by moderator of the High Constables, Roderick Urquhart. The Iron Gate was originally commissioned to celebrate the late Queen's Jubilee last year. Now, for the engagement, Queen Camilla, I thought she looked stunning. She wore a beige trench coat worn over a green floral dress, which I believe she wore last month. Again, even though the weather was really poor, you can tell Camilla and Charles were in good spirits. They look very excited to be there, and I'm excited to watch the coronation on Wednesday. So Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are officially entering their flop era. They're having a little bit of a problem, guys. They are a failure to launch. As I mentioned in my previous video, Harry and Meghan are blaming everyone and everything on their failures except for themselves. But rumor has come out that Prince Harry might have a brand new project for Netflix where he is going to go to Africa by himself to film a documentary. Now, as I mentioned in a previous video, there was a rumor that Harry and Meghan were both going to fly to South Africa, where Meghan Markle was going to teach South African women about safe birthing practices. I know the irony is not lost on most of us that Meghan Markle would be the last person to teach anyone about safe birthing practices, especially since a lot of people don't believe she birthed her own children. Now, according to a Netflix insider who spoke to Page 6, Harry's idea of an African documentary was one of the only ideas that was warmly received by the Netflix from the dynamic duo of Montecito. They have a lot of really bad ideas, apparently. Now, the documentary would focus on his love of the continent, its people, and its wildlife, but no other details have come out. So I think it's a good idea for Harry and Meghan to definitely split their brand. This is something they have been talking about for well over a year, that Meghan was going to have her own projects and Harry would also have his own projects. But the couple just have no talent, and the only thing they have managed to do is that docu-series where they slammed the royal family. Now, it is rumored that Harry and Meghan are also working on another project called Bad Manners, which is the prequel to the Great Expectations Charles Dickens novel, although that has not been 100% greenlighted or picked up by Netflix. It's still in development. Now, there's a huge writer strike that is going on right now in Los Angeles, so they're probably having a problem getting the script off the ground. And let's just pray to baby Jesus that Meghan Markle doesn't try to write it herself. Now, Netflix has come out and said that The Heart of Invictus is a go and that it's coming out sometime this summer although no official date has been released. I do find that a little bit suspicious, but Netflix, in my opinion, is trying to save face, probably to their investors, as to why they paid this couple the amount of money that they paid them. Now, they originally signed a $100 million contract with the Moochers of Montecito back in 2020. However, they're not going to get that money, guys. I guarantee it. It's just a contract over a 5-year period that is going to expire in 2025. And the rumor is Netflix has no desire to renew the contract when it runs out. So Harry and Meghan got about 18 months left on the clock, and they really need a win. Their Live to Lead was a flop. Archetypes was canceled. They're known as being lazy and talentless in Hollywood, and the dominoes keep on a-falling. So if this is not a win for them, they're not going to get any more deals, in my opinion. Now, rumor is that Harry and Meghan are desperately trying to get an Emmy nomination for their docuseries, Harry and Meghan, for Netflix, because this would help them land future projects. So WME is working overtime trying to make it happen. But in my opinion, I don't believe the industry people will let this happen, because Harry and Meghan are not well liked, and people in the industry are getting sick of them. So if they got an Emmy nomination or an Emmy win, yikes, that really would not go over well, although it's a documentary category, which most of the time that's not even televised. So it will be interesting to see if Harry and Meghan will be able to land an Emmy nomination, because they need this to validate themselves in the industry and to show Netflix they're worth keeping. But again, I think Harry and Meghan, they are entering their flop era, and it's just going to keep on happening for them. So yesterday in my video, we did a story about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry with their staged paparazzi photos of the two of them walking around an office building in Santa Barbara. Now, there's a lot of conspiracy theories and controversy. People keep saying it's a body double, it's not Prince Harry. I have to be honest with you, I do not believe for one moment that it's a body double. They were saying, oh, it's the body double, the same from the 4th of July. It's not. It was Harry and Meghan at the 4th of July parade. They even showed them on their docuseries, guys. Harry and Meghan don't walk around with a bunch of body doubles, okay? I know there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, but I do not believe for one moment they have body doubles. They call on speed dial, okay, we need the fake Harry to show up so we can take some fake photographs. Now look, Backgrid, they do call and they do stage fake loved up PDA, but it is 100% Harry and Meghan, in my opinion. Now, they do a lot of smoke and mirrors, and they don't tell the truth, and they like to create a fake narrative that they're so in love, and we all know it's not true. They might have even gone in 2 separate cars, and he went to his hotel and she went to his house. We don't know. Now, the interesting thing was the article was like, they're holding hands. You never saw them hold hands one time in the article. It was really odd. It's like, did they forget to include the photograph? Because you clearly do not see them holding hands, and Harry is not laughing. We don't know what imaginary joke Meghan Markle was telling. She's just smiling to herself, or better yet, smiling to the camera. Again, the whole thing was bizarre. The photographs were taken by Carl Larson from Backgrid. He gives me a major ick factor. If you don't know who he is the paparazzo gentleman who did a YouTube channel with Thomas Markle, the same man who had a falling out with Meghan Markle's father. And now he's hired to photograph Harry and Meghan. He also took the polo match photos. He seems to be in her back pocket or on speed dial. So again, the whole thing just gives me an ick factor. The interesting thing is the lobster claw is gone. If you have noticed, the last couple of times that Harry and Meghan have been packed, she's no longer clinging to Harry. He looks like he's chasing after her. Remember when she humiliated him during the basketball game when he went in for the kiss on the kiss cam and she put her hand up like, oh, we can't do that, I'm so shy. That was on purpose, guys. She is a narcissist. They knew ahead of time when they sat in that booth, the people had to get permission to put them on the Jumbotron. So it wasn't like it was a shock or surprise that they were going to be shown to the entire audience. They knew ahead of time. Harry goes in for their fake PDA kiss and Meghan blocked him. That was on purpose, guys. She wanted to humiliate Harry. That's like a punishment. It's a favorite of a narcissist. And then she decides, oh, let's pretend we're in love, and she tries to cozy up to Harry. And you can tell he was pissed. But every time you've seen them when they were going for sushi, she's like walking ahead of him. He's like in the background holding her handbag. She is no longer doing the lobster claw. Okay, that's telling me something huge. Not to mention she hasn't worn her wedding ring in a couple of months. So this new paparazzo fake thing they did, you never saw her holding on to Harry one moment. She was separated from Harry. Now that's why a lot of people believe he might have been photoshopped, added to the pics, and who knows, maybe they did. I personally believe it was just a paparazzi, their MO, let's take some photographs and put us in the press, because news came out that they returned the keys to Frogmore Cottage and they need to have some positive press in the news. I believe they did it on purpose. It's a business arrangement. This marriage is a business arrangement. I believe they're in it to prove to people we're still here, we're still in love, we're still going strong, but behind the scenes, they are living two separate lives. And I believe the story of the hotel is true. You have to remember, they never came out and sued the people who came out and spoke about the hotels. They never sued Tom Bauer, and they never sued Valentine Lowe. And why is that? Because you can't sue people who are telling the truth and who have royal receipts. They've never sued Jason Knopf. You know why? Because he has royal receipts. So in my opinion, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's a lot of truth to some of these rumors, and Harry and Meghan are just doing some damage control. But what do you guys think? Do you believe the conspiracy that Harry was a body double, or perhaps they were photoshopped together? Leave me your comments, guys, down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you for being here, and I hope to see you on the next video. Bye, guys.